Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while. Oh my gosh. You know what I did, Hunter? I didn't unmute myself. I've been sitting here for 5 minutes talking with no, with my speaker muted. Well, if you stuck around that long, let me start over. Oh, thank you for catching that, Hunter. I hope you didn't drop off. It's not your reception. Let me see if I can catch you over here. I don't think I can. Now, if Hunter, if you have your if you have your phone set to check to get pinged by Telegram, I just sent a note to you that says it was my mic. I am so sorry. You know, I need a crew. I need people to do this for me. Come back, Hunter. Oh, let me try this. Why won't that let me tag him? I know this is. I'm sorry, you guys. It's terrible. Anyway, you'll either get it or you won't. So I am so sorry, you guys. I am so sorry. That is that's the newbie. That's a newbie mistake. So it's Tuesday, September the 26th, 2023. It's episode 101 of the Holstein House broadcast, live answering questions on hosting B&B from your home, fall and winter pantry food preparations and storage and more. No fanfare today since I really blew that opening. But today we're going to talk a little bit about stuff around the house and general projects that's going on. Not much about the garden. There's a couple little things I can share with you. Livestock, we do have a livestock update. Church stuff, nothing really new. I mean, there's kind of, but I think I told you about it again. And in some general news, the things that I want to talk about that's been in the news recently, and that's Fetterman and Canada. Come on, Canada. Get your act together. Get your boy in line, Canada. But around the house, there's not a whole lot going on that's new. We have now. Remember, there is a promo code if you want to come and stay here at the Holstein House B&B. It's a small one. It's here. It's a room in our home, or guest room in our home. And because you've listened to this broadcast, you can, if you direct book, go to robinholstein.com, look for Holstein House on the menu, select direct book, and use the promo code BROAD5, BROAD 5. And when you book, and you'll get 5% off your full stay, everything related to your full stay. We've been Airbnb Superhost for a long time, and we do take Airbnb, obviously, or we would be Superhost, but we prefer the offer by direct book because it saves you money, it saves us money. It really does. So, and there's some other things that we can offer when you direct book that we don't do on Airbnb, because Airbnb wants a slice of it. For example, if I fix you, there's a couple of things that I offer for breakfast for direct book folks that I don't offer for Airbnb folks. But let's say we did. Let's say vegetable omelet, green peppers and onions and cheese, which is not vegetable, but you know what I mean. So if I offered you that on Airbnb, good morning, Carla. Poor Hunter, I had my mic muted and he just left. I didn't even know it. And he kept saying, I can't hear. Maybe it's my reception. And I thought, well, maybe I've got the volume down too far. And And I got to looking and I had it down too far. I had it completely off. But if you're going to direct book, if you want a particular breakfast that we've offered here, and like I was using the example of the um, vegetable omelet with cheese, Airbnb wants a slice of that. They want a percentage of that. Anything that we sell, in addition to just the room through Airbnb, they want a percentage of it. And when it gets to that kind of stuff, I don't like that game. They're getting a significant percentage of each booking, and I don't think. I mean, I know how much I pay for my websites, and you don't need that much off of a booking to pay for my website. So I know time and effort and training and all that stuff. Yeah, I get it. It's okay. No, but we do have the direct book option, and if you direct book and use Broad5 as in the promo code as you're completing the registration, you'll save 5% off your stay. General projects are pretty much the same. We've made a little bit of progress on clearing out some things, but then we had a couple hiccups and had to stop. That what I've got scrolling across the bottom says if I jump up and run out, I'm down at the bunker, obviously, and I have the back door open. The neighbor's dog. We have new neighbors, and they have 3 dogs and a potbelly pig. And I guess they don't understand there's no fence in the back because their dogs keep coming up in the yard and they keep stalking around my chickens. And this is not going to end happily, I don't think. And I can go over in my best Christian voice and try to talk to them about it. But the fact is, I got to keep those dogs up. They're coming into my yard. And no, we have no leash law here in the county. So, but you can't have a nuisance dog either. And there's 3 of them. One of the dogs, and maybe 2, but one of the dogs have bitten people. A kid walking home from school got bit by one, and one of the ladies in my church got bit by one. And I think it was the same dog that she got bit by, that the kid coming home from school got bit by. And I'm pretty sure there's not a free bite. I'm pretty sure our county does not allow a dog one free bite, but at any rate, there's been 2 now. Now, whether the lady in my church reported it when I talked to her Sunday, when she let me know about it, she hadn't. And what it was is the other church here in town had a fundraising spaghetti dinner, and this lady, she goes to both church, and because we're a small community, and she likes to be around both people, and it's no big deal. But she was over helping with that dinner, and she was walking home from that, and the dog bit her. And she said it didn't break her skin, didn't get through the her pant leg, but it did bite her. So it's just, and then they're trying to get, but the point of that is I've got the back door open. If I hear my chickens carrying on, I'm out the door. And I'm not gonna put up with it. It sounded like yesterday that whoever lives there they were sawing and drilling and banging with hammers. So I'm hoping that they were fixing the fence. I don't know if they were or not, but they're going to be in big trouble. That dog is going to be in big trouble. So what else are we going to do today? The basement, I haven't made any progress in the basement. I still haven't decided. This week I'm planning on having a Friday broadcast as well. I just haven't. It's hard for me to decide for sure. I do enjoy it, but it's really I feel like it's not fair to you guys when I'm trying to juggle too many things, and I really don't focus, and I'm all over the place, and I've been all over the place today already. But I just don't know. It's getting harder and harder to carve out the time to do this. I know it sounds like I'm just jumping up here by the seat of my pants, and in a way I am. But I do have a little bit of a script. I am trying to keep a framework, but I just get pulled off. I just get so distracted, and there's a lot going on all the time. Dad has his heart catheterization on Thursday, and Mr. Holstein's having a tooth extracted on Thursday. It's one that they've been dealing with it for years, off and on, and it's either extract or root canal. And he said, "I ain't fooling no root canal." And that's fine too. It's a back molar. He's not going to miss it. At least that's what the dentist says. He might miss it. I don't miss mine. I don't miss the one I've lost. I've got my upper ones, and I have TMJ, and so I grind real hard, and I was cracking those teeth. And he said, "You can have them extracted or get a root canal." And I said, "I'm not doing a root canal either. It's a lot of pain for not much gain, in my opinion." And Carla's gone. Oh, I'm sorry to see you go, Carla. I don't know if, hopefully everything's working all right. I'll have to carve that dead stuff out of the front when I get finished. So the livestock discussion I was going to have, this is where I talk about the chickens and the ducks. Now, the chickens are doing fine. Every couple of days I have 5 eggs and I have 7 chickens, seven hens. They're not getting enough calcium, so I'm keeping them penned more in the mornings. I had been just kind of turning them loose, and they have free access calcium in the coop and in the run, so they can get to it. Oyster shell calcium. And they can get to it, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But the green egg layers, I have 3 green egg layers. One of them for sure isn't laying it. She hasn't been laying for a long time. She started having a lot of problems with getting egg bound. And I doctored her one time, and I just had decided, I said, I've done all I can do, little chicken. Go live your life, because there's, she was, I think it resolved. I'm pretty sure it resolved, but I don't think her guts are right. So I should have 2 green egg layers now. I should be getting 2 green eggs now. And I'm not. I'm getting 1 most of the time. I think I know which one it is. And it's the one I call Gronk because of the noise that she makes. The other one I call Raptor. Now, I've named these dumb things, and it kind of halfway almost makes them pets, but one of them's laying, but the eggs are getting cracked easy. So they need more calcium. So they're not getting it. So I'm keeping them pinned in more later in the morning, not letting them out till noon, to try to encourage them to eat that calcium and eat the feed instead of just whatever's out in the yard. I would rather they eat whatever's out in the yard, but apparently they're not getting enough calcium for my green egg layers. And that brings us to the ducks. The girl ducklings, have not started laying. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to wait for them to do that. I was talking to Mr. Holstein over the weekends, and I said, I thought the way I counted, they should have started laying by now. And there's nothing. So I haven't been getting duck eggs for a while. I don't like that. I don't like that. Oh, no, Hunter, you know what it was? Is I had my mic muted. I see you're back now, Hunter. I mean, it was so dumb. I had my mic muted. See, if I had people here helping me, they could say that stuff. They have one of those things on the table that, where they control everything and they punch all the buttons. And I probably never get that far. But hey, if you hadn't have mentioned it, if you'd have just sat there and not heard anything and left, I would have done an hour with my mic off. But I thank you, Carla. It was showing me that there was nobody there for a little while. So I don't know if you had to step away, if there was a weirdness in the connection or not. I don't know. I just paid for another year, like, of StreamYard um, last week, I think it was. I paid for another year of StreamYard, and then I saw Lisa Sutton on Sutton's Days. I watch her a lot, her YouTube channel a lot. Usually, I like the lives better. I kind of don't like the. I guess it's what goes back to where I was just such a talk radio fan, and little bit of time that I did on a talk radio station, like 4 months, 3 or 4 months. I did some AM talk radio with a guy, and I really enjoyed it. But that's probably why I like the lives better, because they're not doing stuff that you have to sit and watch. But she uses something different now, and I heard her comment that she was having a lot of audio problems, and I noticed that she was. People would say, "I can't hear you. I can't hear." I was hearing her just fine, but other people were saying they couldn't hear her. It was splotchy, and she decided that it was StreamYard, and she quit StreamYard and went to something else. And I thought, man, oh man, I wish I'd have known 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't have renewed for a year, so I paid for another year. But the ducks, the females, if they don't start laying soon, I'm going to look it back up. But I'm pretty sure, counting, the day the first one hatched, because they hatched within a couple days of each other. It wasn't like a couple weeks; it was a couple days. And I'm pretty sure that at 5 months they should be laying, but not the first duck egg, not this morning. But and I don't know. I was talking to Mr. Holstein about it over the weekend, and I wondered if it was because they were Tractor Supply ducks. Maybe there was, and because the male and the female, maybe there were maybe they just, how if you use hybrid plants, then they may have seeds, but the seeds won't sprout and grow. I'm wondering if that's what's going on with these ducklings. Well, they're not ducklings, but. And he said, "Well, just give them a couple more weeks and we'll see." So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to give them a little more time, but I'm thinking they should have already started. The drakes, all 3 drakes went to freezer camp on Saturday morning, just as it was getting dawn before I let them out. So there wasn't much in their systems because they hadn't eaten overnight. And yeah, it went okay. I kind of wasn't happy with I said several times, we need these we need a cone. He said, "No, you don't need a cone." I said, "Okay, we need a hatchet or a cleaver." "No, you don't, just need a good knife." Well, he got one of my good knives, and Daddy Duck probably didn't suffer because the first whack should have taken care of it, but it wasn't good. And so we took care of Daddy Duck first, and then I went in and got one of the young drakes, brought him out, and Mr. Holstein went and got a hatchet, or no, a small axe. I mean, it wasn't a gigantic axe. It was a small axe, but it was bigger than a hatchet, and it wasn't sharp enough. I mean, the 2 younger drakes went quicker than Daddy, but it still wasn't one and done. So I wasn't real happy with that. I I did put up, yeah, setting out road cones. I have cones. See, I thought about that. We have a couple. Why do I have a couple? Oh, Mr. Osteen used to work for he and a guy that he grew up with had a cleaning business for a while. After, it's kind of a long story. he left not long after high school. He went south to North Carolina and lived down there for a couple years. And then his mom and dad divorced, and his mom was having issues living by herself. He come back up, moved her into a trailer that he owned and on their property, and they were up there. He started his cleaning business, and so they would buff floors. And I guess I don't know why he had those cones. He had those cones something to do with that cleaning business, maybe to keep people out of the aisles that he was working on or something. I don't know. But there's a couple cones around here. But I thought, I don't think I think they're too big at this end and too small at this end. And so we'd have to cut them. And he wasn't a fan of that anyway. So I'm going to have to I was looking for a cleaver, and I started buying them. They're very expensive. But I'm going to have to get one just to have on hand. I don't normally have cleavers. I don't use them. I don't have any reason to use them. But I'll get one now. So anyway, Daddy Duck, we started to skin instead of pluck. And it was kind of okay. And you have to keep in mind that I have never done that before. I've never butchered or harvested or whatever the word is. I haven't done that. And so I was trying to figure out, I said, well, how are you going to hold it down? Well, you can use your foot. I said, use your foot. That's what I used to do back home. I thought, yeah, but that was back in the 1820s. But I didn't say that, but I thought it. And but so he took Daddy Duck before I went outside. I was putting some cabbage in, getting it ready to cabbage and carrots and broccoli and stuff, getting it ready to put in for ferment. And as soon as he went, and as soon as I saw him go in and get Daddy Duck, I thought, okay, it's time. So I got cleaned up. By the time I come out, he'd already dispatched Daddy Duck. So we tried skinning him. And I told Miss Charleston, I said, I don't like this. And he said, well, DJ, when he does it, he's doing chickens. And I said, yeah, but I don't like this. So the next, the younger duck, we did skin. It skinned easier. And I wish there was I wish you could save I guess you could if you were set up for it. I wish you could save duck hide like you do deer and stuff, because the feathers and the down on the young drakes was so soft. Oh, it just felt so good. And I said, this is a shame. This is a real shame that I don't have any way to do anything with this, because they were just, now Daddy Duck wasn't. Daddy Duck, his feathers and stuff, they were all worn out. But these younger ones, they still had and it may have been because of their breed, their mama and all that. They were, the young drakes were just, their feathers were all fluffy. So one of the young drakes we skinned, that went better than Daddy Duck, but it still was just a mess. And then the next one we plucked, and it went okay. So I have 2 drakes in the freezer now that have been skinned, and one that was plucked. And the one it was easier to pluck them than I thought. Of course, it goes everywhere and it gets all up in your nose and stuff, but it was easier than I thought. And they all weighed out about let's see, the 2 that we skinned were like a pound 10 ounces, and the one that we didn't skin was a pound and 12 ounces, I think. So they weren't very big. They were mostly feathers. I mean, they looked huge, but they were mostly feathers. But I did get them in the freezer. They weren't real happy about it. I kind of wasn't either, but now it's done. I've done it. I know I can do it. I'm bad now. Watch out. But So yeah, the Drakes went to freezer camp. Church this week, church life, Bible study, Bibles and brunch this week. We're still studying the book of Revelation, but we're in chapter 13. That's going to go on for a while. I really enjoy studying the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation, and I'm not going to get preachy. I'm just going to have a conversation about the book. So far, it is just so sci-fi. I mean, it really is. It's like an ancient sci-fi book. And for those of you who aren't believers, I get it. You're probably sitting there rolling your eyes saying, well, it is science fiction. It's all fiction. I don't believe that. I have the faith. But anyway, the book of Revelation is just absolutely wild. And we are being in chapter 13. We've gotten to the point of things that we probably are not supposed to understand yet, because the thing about the book of Revelation is it's not supposed to all be understood, because if you could understand all of it, you could figure out when the end is going to be for non-believers. And so you understand up to so far because you've got history, the world history and stuff to share with you, to teach you that, oh, this is what happened and this is what happened. You have historical events that you can point to. And then it starts getting kind of muddled. And it gets muddled because we're not supposed to know all of it, even though John is writing the book and John has been there and John has been told and he's writing what he saw. And it's just so fascinating to me. We have reached the point where we're in the Great Tribulation period. We think, because, you can do a little timeline, but you don't know for sure. There's just enough left out. You don't know for sure. And this is the point where the 7 seals have been broken, and the beast and the Antichrist have both come upon the earth. And I tell you what, and of course, I'm sure there are people across history who have thought the same thing. Excuse me, but I saw the young king of Iraq. Is that who? Brett Barrett, is it Iraq? No, it's. See, I get them backwards. Yeah, it's Iraq. Iran's the smaller one, and Iraq's the bigger country, right? It's like North Carolina and South Carolina. But no, so that young king, Brett Baird, was talking to that young king, and he was so charismatic, and he was, Brett Baird said, well, what are you going to do? Do you think Iran's going to get a nuclear weapon? And he just very, very easily said, well, if they get one, we'll get one. And he was just so, Hunter says, psst, I'm not worried until they set the cornerstone for the temples. Well, even at that, that's not, Hunter, even when they get to the point of setting the cornerstones, we've got a while. It looks like you got a while. But as long as you're a believer, you didn't have to worry anyway. If you're a follower of Christ. Because that's what he tells us. That's what he tells us. So, and that's one of the things in the Bible study that we are, that we keep reminding ourselves, that even if you goof up, as long as you're a believer. And we've had the conversations of what happens if. So not long ago, there was a story that came across the news of a bus full of people, and they pulled them all off. And this was over in one of the third worlds. They said, are you a Christian? And when the person said yes, they shot him in the head. Boom, you're gone. And when we've had conversation, I would like to think I would stand there and say, yes, I am a Christian. But what happens when you're really in that situation? You don't know. And if you deny your belief, then what? Well, Peter denied, and he was okay. So I think even in our fear, if we deny, if we repent, we'll be all right. All of this is hinged on the sincerity of your repentance. You can say all the words, but if you don't mean it, it doesn't matter. But the book of Revelation is it's just a brain teaser, because this beast has 7 heads, and and each of those heads are crowns, and it had feet like a bear, and it looked like a lion, or a voice like a lion. Are these all because there are people who believe every word in the Bible is literal, and there are people who believe there's some figurative stuff in there? I'm kind of in the latter camp because we know that Christ taught with parables. So there's no reason to think that we don't have similar things going on in the rest of the scripture. But it's just absolutely fascinating to study and read. It you don't have to be a believer to read the Bible, and you can read the Bible like a series of novels, or mini novels, and you don't have to believe it to read it. What happens is when you are a believer, you understand it better. You don't understand everything, and that's why you have to you ideally should be praying before you read that you'll understand. And when you hit a part you don't understand, you go to somebody to find out why. What is it I'm missing here? And they'll offer you a suggestion, and you pray about that and decide, yeah, I can go with that. I believe that that's probably right. Where people get in trouble is when they're told something they don't like, they don't want to hear, and then they rebel against it. Let's say the Bible was very plain. Let's say this was not debatable. I mean, it was just flat out there. Thou shalt not eat crickets. Let's say the scripture somewhere in there says, "Thou shalt not eat crickets," but you've eaten crickets before before you started reading the Bible, and you decide, "Oh, that doesn't apply to me." Well, you have a problem because it says, "Thou shalt not." It doesn't say you should think about it. It says you shouldn't do it. And we live in times not unique because they've been here before. In times right now where there's an awful lot of people who want to cut out the parts, take scissors to the Bible and cut out the parts they don't like, and just go by the parts they do. And we shouldn't be doing that. we need to study and understand. And if you're going to believe, you got to believe. And you got to believe all of it. And some of it's uncomfortable for us because we don't like to think that we've done something that we can be judged for. And if I stand before someone and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian," and they say, "Hi, Christians," because there is someone that has reached out to me in some of the things and suggested that they have problems with organized religion, and I get it. Organized religion has become a group created by man and not a body serving Christ, and so even in the Methodist denomination, they're going in ways that I don't agree with, and I don't think Scripture agrees with it, and I think they're going in a way that they feel they can get more participation and more money to keep their organization alive. That's what I think. But I'm not on here to preach to you today. Our lunch and learn this week is also, I'm going to see, it will have, I am going to do a workshop on fermentation, and that's why I was working on. I have some from pumpkin fermenting, and let me see if I can get to the pictures here. That's on the photo. Yeah, there's one now. Let me see. Let me get this page shared. Present. There's so many stupid steps here. It's good in a way because I can share all this stuff with you guys, but daggone. So this, I know it kind of looks gooey or yucky, but This is one of the pictures I got to drop in. I got to finish the worksheet or the handouts today. I mean, I have to because I got to do this tomorrow. So these are roughly 1.25 inch slices of the meat of the pumpkin. So you take the seeds out, you scrape the seeds out, you peel the outer shell, outer rind off of them, and then you put this is a cinnamon stick, and what those little splotches you see there are nutmeg, and then you put it in a brine of salt water, 1 teaspoon per quart or per cup. Sorry. And this was yesterday, so it's a 3-day 3-day ferment. So tomorrow it'll be done, but I've never tried it yet, so I don't know what it's going to taste like. I'll take it with me, and we'll guess who's barking? Bob sees something he doesn't like, probably a cat. So it's good and bubbly, and Betty quit. I'm using here, you can't really see it. It's a green sprouting lid, because when you do this, when you don't put a weight on it, and you want it to have an exchange of air. So this one is I thought, I don't have any small pieces of I don't like using cheesecloth. I think it's just a waste of time. I want to use something that I can wash and reuse. I didn't have any pieces of bar towel trimmed up for this, which is what I would normally like to do. So I just use the fermentation lids, and there it seems to be doing okay. This is another one. I ended up you use pie pumpkins. And, I would have never thought that you go to the store and the pumpkins have a sticker. When I went to Walmart, the pumpkins have a sticker, the big ones, that says not for consumption, but they have them in the food aisles. They have these big bins of pumpkins meant for carving for Halloween, and it has a sticker that says not for consumption. So, but anyway, for this one, you use pie pumpkins, which are the smaller ones anyway, and they're sweet and good. And it's actually, I think the recipe's called pickled sweet pumpkin. But I don't remember what the name of it is now. I don't have anything down here with it on there. Oh, maybe I do. I've got such a pile of mess over here. Oh, yeah, I do. Hunter, what does that mean? I think I'd rather organize. Oh, for the church. Yeah, the thing about it is organized religion. Now, this is all my opinion. Organized religion has become corporate religion. I think you do need some form of structure, and that's, in my opinion, why we have the different gifts of the Spirit, is so that we can share these with each other, and we can have a church body, a body of Christ. But what, in my opinion, has happened is we've gone to corporate religion, and religion being different than faith, in my mind. And I'm struggling. I've been working for almost a year now. I have to look the date up, but for almost a year now, I've been working to try to keep the church and grow the church. Not that I'm growing it; the Spirit will grow it. But I've been fighting real hard to do that, and I'm slowly seeing improvements. Now that I've said it out loud, there'll be a setback. It's a pattern. I've watched it. As soon as I acknowledge a blessing, we get a setback. Whether it's the air conditioning or the heating or something, it sets us back. But I'm happy that we've got a couple of ladies that have come back to the church. Now, they haven't come back to services on Sunday, but they're coming to Bible study, and they're going to help us with a hot dog sale and stuff. So that makes me feel better. We have 2 more people, and you don't think a lot about it, but that's almost double what we had. That's almost double, almost twice as many people. So you can play numbers games all the time. I have twice as many people in service this Sunday. Well, how many did you have last Sunday? 1. You can do that. But I really believe that I feel like my place in this confusion and at my church, at my local church, that I am a placeholder um, until the person who God wants in that spot. And our pastor is doing much better, and I'm hoping that he'll feel strong enough that he'll be able to work with both churches again like he had been doing before. And that's a prayer answered. His health is much improved, and I'm hoping that he just needed a break, and then that we'll be able to get a few more people in, and there'll be somebody willing to step in like a superintendent position, sort of leading a lay servant. It used to be called superintendent when I was young, but I think they call it now lay servant position, and and then maybe somebody will come and can play the piano. And it'll grow very slowly, but I'm okay. I have my days, but I'm okay with it. Anyway, so the pumpkin pickles, sugar pumpkin pickles, a half of a small 3 to 4 pound sugar pumpkin cubed to make 1.5 cups. Cinnamon stick optional, half teaspoon ground nutmeg optional, and the brine is a teaspoon of kosher salt. And the reason for that being kosher salt is because table salt has additives to it that you don't want in that can hamper your ferments. And a cup of water. And I use distilled water, but you can use tap water if you let it sit out. So you kind of got to plan it so that you set your water out the day before. And it's from the book Can It and Ferment It. It probably will show up backwards. And it's by Stephanie Thoreau. And it's just a really short little recipe. So I'm going to try. I've got that going. I don't know what it tastes. It looks like it's going to taste like pie. I hope it does. I love pumpkin pie. It's one of my most favorite pies. Oh, it's so yummy. I've always loved pumpkin pie. But anyway, so put that on top of the stack. I have such a mess behind me. We got an extension on our taxes, and they're due the 16th, and I haven't even started on them. I totally forgot about them until a couple of days ago. I'm like, taxes. Oh, God, you got an extension on your taxes, and now you got to get it done. What are these people calling me? I get some of the weirdest phone calls. I keep my phone off. I keep it on Do Not Disturb 99% of the time. And I have it set so that only family and doctor's offices and stuff can get through when it's set that way. Clothing giveaway is still on target. I mean, there's not a whole lot I can add to that because it is what it is. It's a clothing giveaway. There's not a whole lot to tell ahead of time. And like I said, we're going to do the hot dog sales. And that reminds me, where did I put it? I had it up here and I forgot to say it. Shout out to HJ over on Fountain FM. HJ, you know who you are. He's chastising me for putting ketchup on steak. I don't always do it, HJ. It depends on the steak and how poorly it's cooked. And no cheese on hot dogs. Hot dogs are not made for cheese, but on occasion I have been known to put some cheese on it. And not making my own coffee. Now look, HJ, if you could see me wagging my finger at you, but if you're over there on a Fountain and not watching on the YouTube, I know you're teasing. It's okay. Nah, I can't. I mean, I haven't tried that yet. I have every intention of trying it, but you got to buy the beans green, and they're kind of expensive. And then if you mess it up, then what do you got? But I do want to try it. I was going to tell you that the cart is pretty much ready. That orange cart that I was trying to paint up to look like a rusted old truck that didn't turn out to look like a rusted old truck. It's pretty much ready. I have the so wait a minute. I stopped sharing, but I do have. I can show you the cart. This is what. No, don't do that. And I can't see around you. Let me share this picture with you. It's the picture of the cart. It is a picture of the cart without the roof thingy. Now, I don't know how much you guys can see because I can't see around these things. If you can see the pointer or not, I hope you can. You'll see this is what I was talking about. Now, these are brackets. They have no bottoms in them. They're not like the ones over here. These are little pockets, so they have a bottom in them. So that piece of 2x4 that I'm pointing to here can sit down in there. It doesn't fall through because it's got a bottom on it. These don't. So I love my husband, and he jumped in and threw this. I had told him what I wanted to do, and he jumped in and threw it together for me. He put these brackets on and these brackets on. It's just a tad wobbly. These brackets are not tight to the 2x4, and so it has just a little wobble in it, but I can put shims in there and do that. The point of this thing that's standing up here is to hang a fake roof so that it looks like there's a roof here, and a sign maybe that says Farm Fresh or something right through here. I'm going to have to come up with a way because I slide this 2x4 through there, right? And so that I can take it all apart and I can lift these up and I can pack it up, right? It's not permanently mounted, nothing except the brackets are, but this whole H thing is not permanently together. I can take it apart. Whatever I do to hang the fake ceiling or fake roof looking thing here on top, it has to still be able to go through these brackets when I take this board out. So if I put screws in there, they would have to barely be sticking out because there's not enough room to slide through this bracket. I mean, they're kind of tight. They're not tight, so tight you can't move stuff, but I don't know. I've got to come up with a way to do that. And I was thinking, well, you could do a chain or something, have some kind of chain there, or get something that like I don't know what they're called, but you if you have a screw hole that's kind of loose, you can tap this little metal thingy that has a few swirls in it that you can put a bolt in or put a screw in there and then take it out. Anyway, I'm gonna have to come up with something like that, or not. I mean, I could hang a strand of fall flower looking things over all of that, and then still hang the Farm Fresh thing. And this old tarp I was going to cut in half. There's an old tarp laying here in the bed of this little trailer. I bought a rivet kit thing at the Harbor Freight, and I thought, well, I'll cut this in half because it was on the coop, and the part that was on the top ridge of the coop wore away, so it's got a big gap in the middle. I thought, well, I'll just cut that in half, but it's wore out in more spaces. But anyway, the point is I'm going to use this tarp to put in the bottom and put the hay on the tarp or straw on the tarp so that it doesn't fall through all the holes. And then, either if the lawnmower won't pull it, because we haven't tried that yet, if the lawnmower won't pull it, because Mr. Osteen was questioning, he said, I don't know, I don't think it will. Then I can just drag this over to the church and make it a selfie spot for the day of the hot dog sale and the clothes giveaway. I'm all over the place. When I use that Opus Pro thing, and I was telling you about this the other day, it keeps telling me that it's inconsistent. It's all over the place. It's like, I know, that's how I talk. I'm just everywhere, I guess. So let's see. Hunter's saying, and he's talking about uh, the church. He says it's correct direction. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Then he says, I miss pies being keto. Blackberry blackberry cobbler is his favorite pie. I'm reading. And I know there's a lot of folks in the self reliance world that are all about keto. I'm not the personal opinion. Obviously, I'm not a medical doctor. I haven't studied this stuff. I'm not self proclaimed. Oh wait a minute. Could I identify as a medical doctor? um, I don't. I know people have a lot of luck with keto, but I'm not a big fan of it. I think the human body, and because way back when we were supposed to be eating all this meat, I'm questioning whether ancient man really did eat that much meat, because you figure how hard would it be with the tools they had to successfully get that kind of meat. I'm thinking that, and now granted, today's grains and stuff are tainted. I mean, they are tainted. You can't. I don't. When the United States government says it has acceptable levels of stuff, that means it's in there, and they just don't think it's going to hurt you until it's not. They don't think it'll hurt you at this level, but at this level, it'll probably hurt you. And so I'm thinking that's probably a lot of it, of the issue with grains. And lifestyle. I mean, we just do not work the way we used to. We just don't. My grandfather shakes her fists at the cloud. Um, my grandfather, he ate eggs every morning, eggs and bacon about every morning. He had some. He drank buttermilk. He ate fried foods. I mean, he worked like a rented mule. He was always doing. 6 months before he died, he was carrying full settling tanks, you know, from his truck into the shop. And he was 82, I think, when he died. I think he was born in 06. He died in 80. I think he was 82 when he died, and he died of lung cancer. But he was also a welder most of his life. He didn't smoke that I know of. He did chew tobacco, nail patch tobacco. But I mean, they drank the stuff. One of the buzzwords late these past few years is clean. I'm eating clean. I'm eating clean. You ain't eating clean. There's almost no land in this country, unless you go to some of the national parks, that hasn't been tainted with something. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And I'm not dissing you being keto, Hunter. I'm just kind of thinking out loud about the ability for most people to stay keto. And I mean, I guess if you have a significant issue, I don't like to use people's names when they're not in the conversation, but I think there's a young mom that's in my Telegram group that has some really severe food allergies or reactions. And she's like 100% keto, but if she eats other stuff, you know, a lot of it's like I said, it's contaminated because it has levels, whether they're acceptable or not, and her body reacts to them. I get that happens, but on average, we sit in our basements and we type on computers. Now, Hunter, I know you're working. We come home, we watch TV, we play with our phones. The amount of time that is spent doing nothing but sitting on your butt on a couch with your phone, doing this while the TV's on, you know, it's crazy. I mean, I've done it too. I get it. And I spend a lot of time sitting, uh, making handouts for the workshops, designing the workshops, mail back and forth, doing my mobile notary work and stuff. I spend a lot of time on my rear end. Uh, oh, thank you for reminding me I need to stop and get a can. A can of what? What did I remind you to get a can? Snuff. Do you rub snuff, Hunter? That's about the only thing I know that a guy gets in a can except a beer, and I wasn't talking about beer. But I just, it's our lifestyle. I think it's so much more our lifestyle. I think if more people were drinking less pop, Hunter, Hunter says, so with the diet stuff, I'm a glutton. If there's a pie, you'd better make two because I'm eating all of one. I get it. We have pizza is mine. When I was doing Weight Watchers, it was called trigger foods. Trigger foods, things that'll set you off. Pizza is mine. I can eat a whole large pizza, and I'm not talking about large like you get at Walmart. I'm talking a large pizza. I can. I don't. I try not to. We don't get pizza that much anyway. But yeah, I can. And Hunter says I can eat all the steak. Well, yeah, you can. You can. Oh, it's in it. Long, long tobacco, not snuff. He says he's talking about long tobacco, not. They put that in a can. What brand is that now? Because Pop used a chewed mail pouch, and it was just in a kind of foil lined bag. He'd roll it down, and it would stay. Or he'd have it in his pocket. I was crawling. I was a baby. I was crawling and picked up a piece and put it in my mouth and just upchucked all over the place. But I really think it's lifestyle, and there's a lot of pop and chips and diet drinks. Oh, I'm healthy. I'm drinking a diet drink. No. Oh, I'm healthy. I'm drinking flavored water. No. Look at the ingredients. It's not just strawberries and water. It's not just strawberries and water. And it's not just lemon and water. And are they washing the lemons before they cut them and put them in your tea? That's one. And I'm not a big fan of lemon in my tea, but one of the reasons is I don't know that you wash that thing before you cut it and put it out to be put. And if you didn't wash the lemon, and I'm talking about at restaurants or even at home, really, if you didn't wash the lemon, then the waxes and all the gunks on the outside is still there when you drop it in my drink. Okay. We went to eat. We went to Shoney's yesterday after church. We usually do anyway. Dad's not been going again, but he hasn't been to church since July because of his back. At least that's what he says now. I'm wondering if now he's just like broken the habit. But as he opened a package of Sweet and Low, Mr. Holstein was talking about how bad the stuff is for you. And I said, so don't use it. Right there's sugar. Put straight up sugar in your drink. So honestly, there's so much junk that's and people get tore up about what's in the water in the faucet. You're putting a lot worse than that in you. You really are, and you're just sitting on your can. And me too. I don't exercise like I should. I should just walk. I mean, walking would do a lot more good for me than sitting here. But when I get off here, I got to trim that 3 minutes of silence out, and then I got to load it up to the podcasts, and then I'm gonna go take care of some other business. I got to go get Mr. Holstein a birthday card, and I haven't decided. I can't figure out what to get him. I asked him. He said he didn't know. Oh, let's see. Where am I at on my time? Oh, darn. I went over. And I'm just sitting here. Blah, 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 blah. I kind of wanted to touch on. I've already talked about the dogs. Did I talk about the dogs after or before? So, real quick, we have new neighbors in town. And they live kind of almost behind me. So, like, it's kind of at an angle from me. And so the two houses behind me they're almost just barely at angles from where I am. And the lot, the lot is really grown up with trees and weeds in the back. And so what you got, we have a creek, and this creek is so polluted. Well, I guarantee if I went down there and slipped some water and tested it, it would be polluted, because we have a railroad yard, a marshalling yard up here. And for years, that creek was full of oil from the marshalling yard, diesel fuel from the marshalling yard. And so it goes down and through, and has cut over the generations, has cut, a little hollow through there, a little bottom, as Grandma used to call it, down in the bottom. And on each side, it's kind of flat, and it's just flat enough for, little small gardens and stuff. Well, anyway, so the back of this particular house is all grown up with trees and weeds and stuff. And the people that moved in there have never met yet, never laid eyes on them yet. But they have 3 dogs and a potbelly pig. And the dogs are mean. They've bitten people. And they've been coming up, scoping out my chickens. And I'm not happy about it. So the other day, Toolman Tim Cook, was talking about community, how to be part of a community and be accepted by the community. And it came to me, and I stuck it in his Telegram group, that you're not going to be welcome in a community if you come in with aggressive dogs and let them run loose, no matter, we don't have a leash law here in the county, but you let your aggressive dogs run loose and you don't try to address the problem. So a lot of this community is really upset at this guy. And what I'm doing is I had a list, and I went through this list, and I got out of sorts here. Oh, thank you, Hunter. I will tell him you said happy birthday from the Dallas Fort Worth area, down in Garland. You told me you were in Garland, didn't you? So church. New. Oh, how could I get it? Okay, I want to touch a little bit. I try, and I've broken that subtle rule a bunch today already. I try not to get too preachy and too political and stuff. I really do, because I don't want, and I've said this a blue million times, I don't want to be an angry conservative woman on podcasts. There's all kinds of those out there. I really don't want to be that. But there's 3 things I want to, 4, that I just kind of want to touch on. Senator Menendez from New Jersey. He's the one that they have busted for colluding with Egypt, possibly selling state secrets, bribery, all the cash. And I saw this morning on the news, because what I try to do, I watch a little bit of news, local news with Mr. Holstein before he leaves for work. And we watch the local news and the weather, so we know what's going on. Then I usually will watch about a half hour of the national news. And usually it's Fox, because I was trying not to watch Fox. I really wanted to watch Newsmax and or OAN. And it just doesn't, there's something about them. I just can't. I don't know. There's just something that's not jiving with me with those. And I don't watch Fox through the day. I just usually have it on about a half hour, 45 minutes in the mornings. So they're talking about Menendez, and he today they had a clip that he says, well, my family is from Cuba. Now, he was born in the U.S., but his parents are from Cuba, and it's just I've been taking out thousands of dollars every month and putting it away, and because it's just it's a fear that we have that everything's going to be taken away from us. Now, this guy is in the United States Senate, so he was on the Intelligence Committee. He just stepped back, I think, from the Intelligence Committee. And he's worried that that the government's going to break in his house and take all of his stuff. He is the government, and he's on that committee. He knows what's going to happen before anybody knows, except, the Pentagon, I guess. What does he, this man, so my comment on my little cheat sheet here is Menendez should get the Trump treatment. Okay. It is not a rainy day fund. He should be, and what I mean by the Trump treatment is he should be excoriated in the news the way Trump is. They should be showing pictures of all of these stuff the way they do about Trump. They should be pushing for him to be in jail. I saw somebody, honestly, I have no desire to know all of these senators' names. It just really, I barely know Manchin and Capito. But saying, oh, it's just, they're just accusations. Well, Trump's are just accusations, and how are you treating him? It's supposed to be equal justice, equal justice. Trump's not getting it, so Menendez should not get it. Or Menendez should get it, and Trump should get it. But the media has already convicted Trump of all those dumb stuff that has been jacked up just to keep him off the ballot. Now, if you want to vote for Trump, fine. If you don't want to vote for Trump, fine. That's not where I'm at. I'm just talking about how they're both being treated. Menendez, the stuff is there. The gold bars, thousands of dollars in cash sewn in his suit. Why would he sew it in his suit? Because he's hiding it. That's why. Exactly why. Why do young men put their Playboy magazines under their mattress? Because they don't want mom to know. But guess what? Mom already knows. She ain't dumb. She makes your bed. Anyway, so Menendez, I want him to have the Trump treatment. I want all of the media to treat him exactly the way, and I want the federal, all the Congress to treat him the same way they've treated Trump. They don't want Trump on the ballot, then Menendez should not be on the ballot. They want Trump in jail, Menendez should be in jail. Now, let me jump over to Mr. Fetterman. I told you guys a year ago, because I've almost been doing this for a year. So like a week from Friday will be a year, 104 episodes. According to Breitbart, now this, I didn't play the YouTube, Breitbart's YouTube channel says Senator Fetterman apparently got his little feelings hurt, and he teared up when he admitted to his struggles to, wait for it, his struggle to comprehend speech and language after his stroke. The man is a senator in the United States Senate, and he can't comprehend, he struggles to comprehend speech and language. I just can't. I told you so. I told you he should never have been elected. People of Pennsylvania, where was you were trying to be compassionate, and all you did was cause a problem. You cannot be compassionate. If you cut a butterfly out of the cocoon, if you take a chick, if a chick's starting to peck the shell, cracks the shell, and it's here, and it's little beaks right there, and it's struggling, you can't take that shell off that chick. It has to go through that. It's hard. If you take the shell off because you're compassionate and you want the chick to hurry up and get hatched, it's gonna die. It's part of the process. You can't, I'm sorry, there are certain things, if not everyone can do everything. You can't take a man that has no arms and expect him to wallpaper your house. We all have limitations, and we have to accept our limitations, and we have to admit our limitations. If I can't, if I have no arms and I can't wallpaper your house, and you ask me to wallpaper your house, I have to admit, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I don't have arms. As hard as it is, there are disabilities that people have that means they can't do certain jobs. Yes, technology has come a long way, but Fetterman's brain is damaged. He can't comprehend speech and language. He said that, and then he cried about it. Now, I don't know if over emotion is part of what's the matter with him, and if it is, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm trying to state a fact. You can't
have that in the United States government at that level, because if his brain doesn't work, who knows who's feeding him what poor information. Uh, this Hunter SF770 says he was talking this morning. Hunter Biden is going to be their poster boy for gun laws. Yeah. Here's my conflict with Hunter. I wasn't going to talk about Hunter today, but we can talk about Hunter. Hunter Biden, if he is convicted, that sets a precedent on this gun thing, because we know he's already admitted he lied on the form. Other people have lied on the form. Lots of people lie on that form, and a lot of people don't even fill out the form. This is one of the things I have an acquaintance. I mean, I call her a friend. I don't really know her well at all. I've met her at a couple events. She's a friend of some of the guys my husband sings with, or used to play music with and sing with, and she's a friend of a lady of a lady I used to do some work for. I used to do a column for her news magazine, and her name's Chrissy. I won't go into any details, but Chrissy and I have had this conversation a lot. Chrissy is, I don't know if I can say that like that. I have to be careful because I don't want her to get in trouble. Not like the feds are going to come chase down anybody on my channel. Chrissy and I have had the conversation about the medical marijuana card, because in West Virginia, you can have medical marijuana. I can go a couple miles over here to Quincy. They have a distributed what's it called, Carla? Anyway, it's where you go to pick up your marijuana. It's not a distributor. They call it something else. But anyway, and I went in. Dad was wondering about it, so we looked for his back. Could he get some relief for his back? We didn't go that far yet, but went in and talked to him, and got information. And they gave me a card for a doctor that I could call. And I thought, well, I could call and get it. But it's still illegal at the federal level, and this is the conversation Christy and I have often. And I'm not going to jeopardize my 2A freedoms by getting that card. I don't care how legal it is at the state. Oh, Hunter said I'm on a list now just because he's here. I'm not. I probably am on a bunch of lists for a lot of different reasons, Hunter. 2 of them being ex-husbands. Oh, maybe we'll do an episode on ex-spouses. That would be fun. I don't have themed out episodes like that. Maybe I should. Maybe that's what I need to do, is just theme some out. I don't know. But anyway, I don't doubt that I'd be on a few lists. But I'm not going to jeopardize it. I'm not a fan of weed anyway. I mean, in all honesty, I did inhale it a couple of times, maybe 4, but not that. Well, and the reason I said it that way, in case you, not that there's not going to be any younger people listening to this, but if somebody stumbles across it, Bill Clinton, when he was running for office, said he'd never broke the laws of the United States, but he was over in Cambridge, England on I think it was a Rhodes Scholarship. And over there it was legal at the time, I think. And so he said, yeah, well, he tried it, but he didn't inhale. And everybody, I mean, people, it's like, they're lying. Just say it. But he didn't want to because he was running for president. And that was, he was. But I did. I have tried it. It just wasn't a thing for me. It just wasn't a thing for me. And I just didn't. Anyway, but Hunter is an admitted drug addict, to bring this back around. And I have to take him at his word. I've never seen the man use drugs, but I've seen pictures of him using drugs. The boy's got a problem. I wonder sometimes how much his older brother was involved in all this family stuff. Of course, you can't bring up the older brother, Bo, because he died. He died. And oh, it's awful. You just can't, the president gets fired up. My son died. Well, guess what? A lot of parents in the United States and across the world have had their children killed or have had them die from diseases and stuff. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. And we all have our levels of emotion and grief about them. And it's you're not unique, Mr. President. You're not even unique in that circumstance. You're not the only one whose grown son died from a brain tumor because of whatever. I think he was supposed because of some toxic chemicals he was exposed to over in Afghanistan, which is probably the reason he pulled everybody out of Afghanistan the way he did. But anyway, Hunter has this gun. In order to get it, he had to lie on the federal application. So he lies on the federal application because it asks if you are now or have been a user of these particular scheduled drugs. I don't have the form in front of me, so I can't quote it. And he says no, which was a lie. He has admitted that in his book that he wrote about his life. I think he has admitted it in some interviews. Now, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think he has. If he's let go, then everyone who has ever been prosecuted for lying on a federal application should be treated the same, shouldn't they? I don't personally know anyone who has lied on a gun application and then got caught and then had to go to court to even know what has happened. I know there are those cases. I've heard people talking about them and using proper names and stuff. Not just, I heard some story about, they've used proper names of people who have lied on the federal gun application and been prosecuted for it. I don't know what the big penalty is because I just don't know. But if Hunter is not convicted, then anyone else who has ever had that charge should get the same treatment. If he's convicted, as he should be, based on the evidence that we've seen, I don't see how he's admitted to everything. How do you take that back? Oh, I didn't really do it. I lied. Which time did you lie? Did you lie on the application, or did you lie that you didn't lie on the application? Oh, I lied. I lied that I lied on the application. Well, then if you lied about the application, why should we believe that it was you get into this big circle loop, and which point, everything I say is a lie. Well, now what? We've all heard that little story. So it's very interesting to me what's going to happen to him with that. Because whatever happens to him sets the tone for what should happen to everybody who fought. Actually, to me, it should be either side, before or after, but at least everyone who follows him, who's been accused of lying on a federal gun application. Then the ex-wife or the girlfriend or his sister-in-law, I don't know who it was, throws the gun in a dumpster. I have to wonder if she really did that or if it was him. And she just reported it that way to keep him out of trouble. That just is. Who throws a gun in a dumpster? Even thieves and gangsters know to throw it in a river. I don't know. Hunter Biden he is dangerous in a lot of ways. Take away his drug addiction, because people with drug addictions can get violent. Okay, not all of them. I get it. Not getting into that debate, but some of the stuff that I've heard that he has been using, he can get violent. So, and I think he was not a very pleasant person anyway before his daddy got to be president. So he's got just immediate access to the White House and everything in it. How does he pass a security clearance? How does he get to even walk through the doors? The mess with Joe Biden and those boxes of documents in there with his car, and everything was safe because his car was in there. It was all locked up. Every time you took the car out, that stuff was open to anybody to walk in and grab. I don't know the people's ability to twist stuff to make them feel good. I just it wears me out. It wears me out. One more thing from the U.S. I kind of touched on this the other day. Russell Brand. So Russell Brand has apparently has lost. I don't remember. I didn't keep the link from where this one came from. Russell Brand has lost his book deal, his agent. Oh, it was a tweet. Somebody sent a tweet. He's lost his book deal, his agent. His tour has been canceled. His Netflix shows have been pulled over allegations. Kevin Spacey's career was ruined over allegations, and he won a court case, but it'll never be the same. This has to do with the way we treat people generally, or the way the media treats people and corporations treat people. You can put some fake chick on a beer can, and when people raise their stink and stop buying your drink, that's just discrimination. This guy, in this case, they're talking about two in this comment, they've been accused. Yeah, it's tough stuff to be accused, but they haven't been convicted. Kevin Spacey apparently won his court case, but you can't put that money back. Even let's say let's just use easy numbers. Let's say Kevin Spacey lost $100 during this process. But if his money had been in the bank, it would have been 125% interest. You can't give him that. Nobody, he doesn't get that interest. Nobody gives him that interest. I say, well, okay, here's your $100. You can't fix that. And now forever, there's going to be a whisper campaign. Did you hear about Kevin Spacey? Did you hear about Kevin Spacey? I heard he did this. I heard it was with chickens. I heard it was with ducks. You can't stop that stuff. Once you crack that, once that bell has been rung, you can't unring it. Now, could these people, could Kevin Spacey have been guilty and he just was able to play a better game? Yeah, he could have. Russell Brand has been accused. What do you do? You pull your, oh gosh, this drives me crazy. You pull everything away over an accusation. Out when he gets convicted, if he gets convicted, I get it then. Over the accusation, he ought to come out and say he's trans. He's a trans woman. Or how does that work? Which way do you say it? Do you say trans and then what you want to be, or you say trans of what you used to be? So, the guy that was on the beer can that caused all the trouble, was he a trans woman? Because he wanted to be a woman? Is that how that... Because I have no desire to fool around with any of that nastiness. But, so, if Russell Brand says he's a trans man, that he was if I get these in the right order, he was a woman and now he's a man, would they drop all of this stuff? Because they're all of these mega corporations are just courting perversion, and that is my belief of what it is. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to like it. It's my belief that stuff is a level of perversion and potential mental illness that needs to be dealt with right away. There used to be a bar in Charleston, West Virginia. Oh gosh, what was it called? wasn't Broadway. What was it called? Anyway, it was a bar that was marketed to the gay and transvestite community. Daggone, I wish I could think of the name of it. I was never there. Of course, had no desire to go. Hunter says, I think it's trans plus your final form. I think I think you're right. I think I don't know. I think it is. So you're transitioning to female or transitioning to male. But daggone, I wish I could think of the name of that bar. Well, she was a friend. She was a friend of mine, but she was my manager or my director when I worked for Environmental Health Services. But it catered to the gay and transvestite community, and they had the big, shows, where the guys would dress up like women and be just drag queens. That's what I'm looking for, was a drag bar. So they had those shows and stuff in it. And my girlfriend Cherie, she would go. Of course, Cherie was about 11 years older than I was, and she grew up in downtown Charleston. Well, in Charleston, not downtown, but in Charleston. And so she ran around with all these people that did that stuff. So to her, it was just another thing. It's like living down in New Orleans for, for Mardi Gras time and the stuff that goes on for that. She thought it was just great. And I'm like, no, man, I can't do this. She said, oh my gosh, no, these men, they look, they dress, you can't tell. It's if you go, nobody's gonna be hitting on you. You just go and watch the show. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't support that stuff. But I don't think you're in your right mind when you do that. I really don't. I think you're hard pressed to look at nature. I'm gonna get probably canceled on YouTube. Make sure you go to Rumble and set up a Rumble account just enough to follow my thing over there, because I may get in trouble for this, because I don't know how much they'll allow you to say. Nothing of it's filthy, but I don't agree with this. I don't. You'd be hard pressed in nature. Now I get that in nature, the male, like in birds, the male bird has more beautiful plumage and stuff to attract the females. The females has got a nest, and they're going to try to camouflage, and they don't need to be the bright colors, to attract attention to their nest. But you would be hard pressed to find in the natural world boy animals trying to be girl animals. It's just not there. It's just not there. I get it. Every now and again, there's supposed to be a male penguin that'll do something rude. Now, but that's not the normal way. Okay, that's not how the species continues, and that is not the normal way. And I really think a lot of these folks have a lot of problems that they can't work out, and they want to live in a fantasy world where they can do whatever and be whatever and be accepted. I just don't think that a lot of these folks are really happy with themselves. I mean, it's kind of like when you have young ladies, even older women, and they have all of this liposuction, they have these silicone things put in their boobs, and they have all the shots to get rid of the wrinkles, and they bleach their hair to where it's about to crack and break off their skull, and the plastic nails and the junk and the chemicals and the what are you doing? What are you doing? Now I'm not, this isn't a religious thing. Please don't confuse it. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to do. I don't have a problem. I think it's not a big deal for a little eyeshadow or something, to liven up your complexion a little, but all this other junk, you're poisoning yourself. Botox is a poison. It's toxic. It's a botulism. It tells you exactly what it is. And you're shooting it in your face to get rid of a few lines because of your vanity. Oh, I look so much better. Yeah, maybe you do. But what's the point? Because when you're 65 and the silicone's popped and now you got some freaky disease and your lips is all stretched out because the whatever it is they put in there to make your lips look like some baboon's bottom, has you can't do your mouth is all stretched out from that and it's saggy and nasty. And you can't color your hair, so half of it's whatever kind of grayish nastiness, and then the rest of it's whatever color you have. What do you and then you want to tell me, then you want to say, oh, I eat clean. I eat clean, only drink bottled water, filtered water. I don't eat GMOs. I don't eat gluten. But I'll put acrylic on my nails. And for those of you who don't know, when you get those acrylic nails, they take a little, it's like a Dremel tool. And some of them are actually Dremel tools. And they put the little round sanding discs on them. And they sand your nails down so that acrylic will stick better. But what happens when you have those acrylic nails removed, it also peels a little layer of your nail off so that what you've got there is barely anything taking care of you. It is eaten and ground your nail down to where it's subject to infection and it's awful for your nails to do that. And people can develop allergies and sensitivities to the acrylic. Earrings and all this stuff in your face. Some of that has a lot of nickel. The metal nickel, not a 5-cent piece, but nickel. People have high sensitivities to that. There are people out there that, and I'm one of them. If I have, I've got some costume jewelry that I put on and a couple of them I love, but because they're high in nickel and that nickel gets on my skin, I have eczema breakout because of it. Certain earrings I wear will cause me to have sores pop up on my ear because I have a sensitivity or an allergy to the nickel. What do you do? This absolutely has nothing to do with Holstein House at all. And then you want to eat clean. You don't have to not wear deodorant or antiperspirant and be greasy and patchouli smelling. But you don't need all that crap. And a man who wants you to have silicone in your boobs probably shouldn't be on your short list. Because when that's gone, is he going to still be there? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. But if that's what don't do that. Don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm just out there today. But don't tell me you're a health nut and you got all that stuff going on. Just don't. Because you're not. You're not. If you want, you're not. I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, and before I finish up, daggone, I've been going for an hour and 36 minutes. I like to stay at an hour because I know a lot of people just don't have all that time, and you want to have a consistency to your broadcast. But before I finish up, let me just really briefly say, Canada, get your boy under control. Did you see the stories from the news was blowing up yesterday and a little bit this morning? The Canadian Parliament gave a standing ovation and an award to a Nazi SS soldier. So this old guy gets some kind of award from Canadian Parliament. And it turns out he was an SS Nazi for Hitler, for Adolf Hitler. And they gave the man an award and acknowledging his service to his country. And a standing ovation. For real though. They did. What's it? Y'all, come on. What's it? What's up? He's a Nazi. Maybe you give him an award in private. But I guess, Nazis and commies are not too far apart, right? Justin Trudeau's supposed to be, isn't he supposed to be the son of, let me show you this. He's supposed to be the son of Fidel Castro. Let me see if I can, give me a second here. Where did I go? Darn it. Oh, I need to get to this to change the picture around because that's not it. Get out of my way. Why can't I get to that? That's not it. Get out of my way. No, that's not it. There it is. I found some of these. I might have showed it to you. Oh, that's the ducks. You don't want to see the ducks. That's the cat on the cart. Oh, now I know I've got them in here. Oh, where did they go? Daggone it. I had a bunch of them. I can't get. Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, this is killing me because I want to show this to you and I can't find it. It's a war poster from the Second World War. And I gotta why can't I get to, maybe it's here. I think there might be one here. Darn it. I know it was there. Where'd it go? Oh, I hate when I do that. Bob's upstairs. Oh, here it is. He's rolling and growling and scrubbing his back. You know how dogs do all that wiggling on. He makes some of the most awful noises. Now, let's see if I can get back to here and see if I can get to here. I'm sorry it's taking so long. It's not that one. Will it let me? Come on, StreamYard. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to remove this. And I'm going to have to go to present. And I'm going to have to go to share screen. I have to go through all these dumb steps again. Window here. I'll stop with the pop-ups. Can you see that? I know you can. This man is your friend. He fights for freedom. And he gives awards to Nazis. This is a government poster that's telling people that Canadians are our friends. Oh, are you able to see it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I had to look over because there's a delay, and I looked over at Rumble to see where it was, and there's a delay between me and you, and there's a delay between me and Rumble, so it's crazy sometimes to try to keep up with. Oh my gosh, I've been all over the place today, and I apologize because it's really not what I wanted to. But I do have to get off here, and I have a lot of work to do, and I do need to trim about 3 minutes off of the beginning of this because it's dead air because I had the mic off. So I'll have to do that, and then I don't know if that'll affect how. Oh man, I don't think I can do that on. Oh, I'll have to see, because I'll have to trim it on YouTube and Rumble. I could put a comment in there, I guess, but well, I don't like to do that. But anyway, thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys who are watching it later, and thank you guys on Fountain and the other podcasts. I hope those of you who are listening on the podcast, please let me know that you're out there. Just to follow. Now, I know Fountain, one of the things with Fountain is you got to cough up 10 Satoshis. And I'm sorry. I can try to get them back to you. Give them back if you want. But Fountain is set up that way so that it keeps down the spammers. But if you're on one of the other podcast apps, please let me know. You can go to robinholstein.com and go to the contact page and send me a note and say, hey, I heard you. Put something like, podcast in the subject line or something so that I know you're not spam. But I do appreciate you guys, really. And even when I'm having off days, I do appreciate you guys. And love interacting with you guys whenever it's possible. And hey, if you want to come on, we can do that. I don't like to do evenings because I have to put the birds up and stuff. But if you wanted to have an evening, we could do a special evening maybe. I was trying to think. It's entire. Oh, I tell you one thing to watch for. Watch for an announcement if Dad's heart cath, if he has any complications or if something happens that if he has to be there overnight, I will somehow let people know. Go to the Telegram group. The link's going to be down in the description for that, but it's t.me/Holstein House chat. Request to join that because I've got that set to stop spammers. I got a couple spammers in there before, and I set that so that you have to ask to get in. I'll definitely have that information there, but yeah. Stay tuned. Thank you again for being here. And I guess really that's kind of going to be it. So we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.